Welcome to another conversation with a distinguished visitor to Hope College. Our guest today is retired Brigadier General John Adams, U.S. Army, who's visiting our campus as part of the Great Decisions discussion series, co-sponsored with the World Affairs Council of West Michigan, of which Hope College is an educational partner. General, welcome to Hope College.
Thank you, President Knapp, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit Hope College and to look forward to the students this afternoon.
Well, our topic today is the South China Sea, which I think we all understand is a hotspot for a lot of reasons. It's a military hotspot, but also a place of some environmental concern, as well as an economic zone of great importance to a number of countries. Share with us, if you will, what you believe are the most important issues today that are bringing the South China Sea to the fore as a topic of international concern.
I would like to emphasize exactly what you did in your opening. It's a multifaceted issue. It's something that touches on our well-being as a country and our well-being as a world. It does, unfortunately, have the potential to. It's a tinderbox because there's so many military interests in the region. But I think one message that I hope folks take away from my remarks today is that we're going to get through this. And we're going to get through this if we stand by the principles that America has exemplified for our entire existence. We promote peace, we promote global prosperity, we promote our own interests, but we want to make sure that we connect our interests with both military security, economic security, and environmental security. Those are all at stake here.
So just today I saw a media report about the USS Carl Vinson and a number of other Navy vessels from the United States sailing into the South China Sea, and the response by the Chinese government in their Global Times state-run newspaper was a warning that America should be aware that this is not the Caribbean. Seems to be a lot of saber rattling going on in that part of the world. Do you believe that tensions are high enough for us to be concerned about real open conflict?
I think that we can avoid open conflict, but I think we do have to assert our rights to navigation in international waters, and that's what the Carl Vinson Battle Group is doing. A carrier with 2 accompanying ships. They've done this before many times, and they're sailing in waters that are respected by almost the entire world as waters that are open and available for navigation. The last time they did this particular transit was 2015. There were no incidents involved. Both countries right now are using rhetoric that one could interpret as more aggressive, but what they're really doing is they're giving each other warnings. China firmly believes that the South China Sea is its historic right, and they've claimed that for decades. However, the United States, and again, almost the whole rest of the world, asserts that the right to freedom of navigation it also applies to the South China Sea. The UN Convention on Law of the Sea, which was went into force in 1994, to which the United States is not a signatory, but we conduct all our operations according to it. 12 miles territorial sea off of every country's coast, 12 miles of contiguous waters off of beyond that, so a total of 24 miles, within which area there are some restrictions based on sovereignty of the country of that sea, and then 200 miles exclusive economic zone. Every country in the world has that right to conduct operations within their territorial sea, but exclusive economic zone areas are free for transit. Both civilian and military vessels and aircraft can transit the exclusive economic zone, as long as they don't do anything aggressive against the country. And there are ways to define that, but that's arcane. What's important to remember is that China's claiming the entire sea. They're not allowing, in fact, at the same time as the Global Times had an article saying that the South China Sea is not the Caribbean, they published a proposed law that would require ships and aircraft and submarines to surface if they're a submarine, fly a flag if they're a ship, and come up on the radio if they're an aircraft, if they fly anywhere in the South China Sea. They're asking for public comment. I guess the public comment from the United States is we're going to sail through it.
So China is asserting its claim in part by building these artificial islands, and I know that's given some concern to the Japanese. I know Prime Minister Abe has made some moves to strengthen the Japanese defense forces, often citing some of the Japanese view as more aggressive actions on the part of the Chinese in the South China Sea.
And Prime Minister Abe and the government of Japan they're concerned for a good reason, both because of the actions in the South China Sea, but also because of China's actions against what they call the Diaoyu Islands in the East China Sea, and the Japanese call the Senkaku Islands. This has been a disputed claim since the war. Japan actually is in administrative control of those islands, but China is challenging it with its Navy and Coast Guard vessels, and they've done that much, and they've also declared an air defense identification zone in that area, which in theory would prohibit other countries' aircraft from flying. Japan is a close U.S. ally. They will support our position, and our position is that freedom of navigation should not be interrupted. And Japan is also concerned about its own security in light of the Chinese continued military buildup. You referred to the islands, very interesting constructions. There are 7 former atolls, reefs, or rocks in part of it's a part of the South China Sea called the Spratly Islands that China has fortified, dredged up the seabed to put the sand and other mineral deposits on top of an atoll, or in this case 7 atolls, and created reinforced seawalls. 3 of those islands have 10,000-foot runways that any Chinese aircraft could land on, including the most advanced Chinese military aircraft. They've now placed aircraft carrier or anti-aircraft installations on 7 of the islands, which could house one of their most advanced anti-aircraft weapon systems. So Japan's concerned about that, we're concerned about that, and the other neighbors in the region are concerned about that.
So another one of the neighbors in the region is the Philippines, which is also a United States ally, and I think their interests are primarily economic, having to do with natural resources and fishing. What are some of the concerns that the Philippines have, and how do you see those being resolved?
Exactly. The Philippines has rich fishing areas off its own coast in its territorial waters and its contiguous zones, but they also want to use their own exclusive economic zone for fishing, rich fishing there. An estimate by the Philippines government says that this is one of the world's most important biodiversity areas. So economic and ecological concerns. Oil and natural gas deposits. Their estimates are that there are 28 trillion barrels of oil reserves in the South China Sea. Much of that in the Philippines exclusive economic zone. They're not all proven, and of course they're probable, so greater than 50% chance that they could be exploited. But Philippines would like to explore that. There have been Chinese vessels in their exclusive economic zone looking for oil deposits in the past. They would like that not to happen. So the Chinese claim of their control over the South China Sea threatens the Philippines' economic welfare.
We look forward to discussing more of this during your presentation today. We have been talking with retired Brigadier General John Adams, who is on the Hope College campus as a part of our Great Decisions series to discuss concerns and global issues in the South China Sea.